They found the plane. They found the money. They found the tie he left on his seat. They found the parachute he didn't use. They found everything. Except him. Today we're going into the D.B. Cooper case. Not the version you've heard before. The version with the evidence that gets glossed over. The forensic detail that changes the timeline. The FBI file that reveals how badly this investigation was mishandled. Because the real story isn't just that he disappeared. It's what he left behind and what that tells us about who he was. It's Thanksgiving Eve, 1971. Portland International Airport. A man in his mid-40s walks up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter and buys a one-way ticket to Seattle. He pays cash. He gives his name as Dan Cooper, not D.B. Cooper. That name came later, a media error that stuck. The FBI still calls him Dan Cooper. He boards Flight 305, a Boeing 727, 36 passengers. He takes seat 18C. He orders a bourbon and soda. He tips the flight attendant. He is calm, completely calm. Shortly after takeoff, he passes a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. She assumes it's a phone number. She tucks it in her pocket without reading it. He leans over and says, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." She reads it. He opens his briefcase just enough for her to see inside. Red cylinders, wires, a battery. She believes him. $200,000. For parachutes, a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. And he wants the plane to fly low below 10,000 feet with the landing gear down and the wing flaps partially extended. That last part is important. We'll come back to it. The plane circles Puget Sound for 2 hours while the FBI scrambles to gather the ransom. Seattle First National Bank pulls $200,000 in $20 bills. Every serial number is photographed on microfilm. The plane lands. The passengers get off. 2 flight attendants are released. Cooper counts the money. He inspects the parachutes. And here's the first thing that tells you this man knew exactly what he was doing. He unpacks one of the parachutes and examines it. He's checking for tampering. He's checking for a booby trap. He keeps 2 parachutes. He leaves 2 behind. The plane takes off again at 7:40 p.m. For crew members, 1 hijacker. Destination Mexico City, with a stop in Reno. At 8:13 p.m., the cockpit gets a warning light. The aft stairs, the rear staircase of the Boeing 727, have been lowered. Mid-flight, the crew feels a sudden, unexplained pitch change in the aircraft. And then, nothing. The plane lands in Reno at 11:02 p.m. The crew opens the rear door. He's gone. $200,000. Gone. The only trace, a black clip-on tie, left on seat 18E.
A $1.49 je cepený tie.
Let that sink in for a second. The United States Air Force deployed in State Route 71 Blackbird, a Cold War spy plane capable of flying at Mach 3 at 85,000 feet to search for one man in the woods of Washington state. They found nothing. The terrain was too rugged. The weather was too bad. The night was too dark. And that was just the beginning of how badly this search would go. 9 years pass.
No Cooper.
No money. No body. Then, on February 10th, 1980, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram is on a family picnic at Tena Bar, a sandbar on the Columbia River near Vancouver, Washington. He's clearing a spot for a campfire. His hand hits something in the sand. 3 bundles of $20 bills. Rotting. Held together by rubber bands. The family thinks it's counterfeit. They turn it in to the FBI the next day. The serial numbers match. It's Cooper's money. $5,800 of it. The bills are in terrible shape. Some have shrunk to the size of business cards. Some have turned black. The rubber bands have fused to the paper. The FBI brings in backhoes, soil experts, archaeologists, river current specialists. They dig up the entire area. They find nothing else. Now here's where the story gets strange. Stay with me here because this next part changes the entire timeline. Researchers, not the FBI but independent scientists, ran a forensic analysis on those bills. And what they found contradicts the most popular theory about how the money got to Tena Bar. The official assumption was simple. Cooper landed near the Columbia River, the money bag degraded, and the bills washed downstream over 9 years. But the science says that's not what happened. Diatoms are microscopic algae. They bloom at specific times of year: spring, summer, fall. And they leave a record in whatever they touch. Researcher Tom Kay and the Citizen Sleuths team analyzed the diatoms on the Tena Bar bills. What they found was this. The bills contained only spring and summer blooming diatom species. Species that don't bloom in November. If the money had been in the Columbia River since November 1971, the month of the hijacking, the bills would show diatoms from every season. They don't. The money was submerged in spring or summer, not November, which means one of two things. Either Cooper survived the jump, held on to the money for months, and then, for reasons unknown, the money ended up in the river, or someone else placed it there. The FBI never reached a definitive conclusion on this. That $1.49 clip-on tie Cooper left on his seat has been sitting in an FBI evidence bag for over 50 years, and it contains more than 100,000 microscopic particles. Researchers using scanning electron microscopy found unalloyed titanium, bismuth, antimony, strontium sulfide, yttrium. These are not materials you find on a regular person's tie. Unalloyed titanium in 1971 was almost exclusively used in aerospace manufacturing. Strontium sulfide was used in cathode ray tubes and specialized electronics. Investigator Eric Eulis spent years analyzing these particles and concluded they point to someone who worked in a specialized manufacturing environment. Specifically, a facility that supplied components to Boeing. A machinist, an engineer, someone who worked with their hands in a very specific kind of factory. And here's the detail that makes the clip-on tie even more significant. Clip-on ties were standard safety equipment for industrial workers. You wear a clip-on so it doesn't get caught in machinery. This man didn't wear a clip-on tie because he was nervous about his appearance. He wore it because he was used to working around machines. Here's the part that should make you angry. The cigarette butts collected from the plane gone. Lost or destroyed during the investigation. The hair sample collected from the headrest gone. Same story. The tie DNA? Compromised. Former FBI agent Larry Carr has stated publicly that the biological sample is too mixed and degraded to produce a reliable profile. The best forensic evidence this case ever had destroyed by the agency investigating it. And the 2026 FBI files reveal something else. Agents were eliminating suspects based on whether they had a pot belly or a prominent nose. One man, Ferdinand Michael Richard Arndt, was officially cleared as a suspect in 1972 solely because of his, quote, unusually large and prominent nose. This is the investigation that was supposed to find America's most wanted fugitive. The FBI investigated over 800 suspects. Let's talk about the most compelling one. Richard Floyd McCoy Jr., Vietnam veteran. Green Beret. Trained paratrooper. On April 7, 1972, less than 5 months after the Cooper hijacking, McCoy hijacked a United Airlines flight. He demanded $500,000 and 4 parachutes. He jumped from the rear staircase of the plane. He was caught 2 days later. The similarities are not subtle. They are exact. The FBI investigated McCoy as a Cooper suspect and officially ruled him out, citing physical discrepancies in eyewitness descriptions. McCoy was killed in a shootout with FBI agents in 1974 after escaping from prison. But the story doesn't end there. In 2023 and 2024, McCoy's children Shantae and Richard McCoy III came forward with something they found on the family property in North Carolina. Parachute, a harness, a skydiving logbook. The FBI took custody of the items, tested them, ran DNA analysis, soil sampling, parachute expert evaluation. In December 2025, the FBI returned the items to the family. No definitive conclusion, no public announcement, no confirmation, no denial. The FBI's statement: the case remains inactive unless specific, verifiable physical evidence is produced. The parachute is back in a box in North Carolina, and D.B. Cooper is still out there. Or he isn't. Here's what we know. On November 24, 1971, A man who called himself Dan Cooper hijacked a commercial airliner, collected $200,000 in ransom, and jumped into a stormy night over the forests of southwest Washington. He left behind a tie that points to an aerospace manufacturing background. He left behind money that, according to peer-reviewed science, was placed in the Columbia River months after the hijacking not washed there from the jump zone. He left behind a case that the FBI mishandled badly enough to destroy its own best evidence. And he left behind a parachute possibly sitting in a box in North Carolina, tested by the FBI, returned without explanation. Here's what we don't know: his real name, his face, whether he survived, whether the money was planted, whether the man who committed the most audacious hijacking in American history walked away, or whether he's buried somewhere in the forests of Washington state, undiscovered for over 50 years. The FBI closed the active investigation in 2016. It remains the only unsolved commercial airline hijacking in American history. Not one of the only one. If you've made it this far, you've now seen the evidence that most coverage skips. The diatoms, the tie particles, the lost cigarette butts, the parachute that came back without an answer. Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more cases like this, the ones where the evidence is stranger than the story, subscribe. Because there are more of these. A lot more. I'll see you in the next one.